So I just got back from my walk and went and got a coffee. Just got up before, and I was thinking on my walk, I was like, I'm going to make a video, I think, on what my day usually looks like. If you don't know who I am, my name's Ben. I run a digital marketing agency. I do about 50K per month. And I say that because all I ever wanted as a younger man was an online business. I just wanted to break away from the system. I didn't want a 9 to 5. I didn't want a boss. I didn't want anyone to tell me what to do. I just wanted the freedom that was associated with online business. And when I was coming through, social media was only really just a thing. So all the online business people that I looked up to back then, that I saw their lifestyle. And nowadays, there's obviously so much content going around, but I never saw how they actually worked during the day. I never saw what they actually did to make the money that they say they were making. And I only saw their lifestyle. I only saw the thing that was like, all the sexy parts of their life, all the parts that were like, sold me on the lifestyle of what I wanted. At the time as well, I had some friends who were doing online business. They went on social media. I was just looking at them and I was like, I was waking up at like 6 a.m. and going and doing some bullshit trade job that I hated. And they were sitting, they were still asleep, and they would wake up in the morning and sort of work on their laptop. And I'm like, how the fuck do I do that? And you must know, I'm 33 now. So this was back in like 2009, 2010, 19, 20. I had that dream, and I was just a young kid, and I had no idea what was going on. So I thought it would be valuable for people to kind of see what the boring stuff looked like. The stuff that's like, that doesn't get shown that much. And the stuff that I think I would have found valuable younger. And even now, like, I like to know what people's workflows are during the day. Because I think that people don't share it because it kind of is boring. But if you're going to buy into someone and buy into like a life that you actually think you want, it's good to see what work you actually need to do, because there's no job in the world and there's no online business on this planet where you're going to do everything you enjoy. There's just going to be shit you don't like to do. So I'm just going to jump in and kind of show you what I do, how I've set my business up, the structure, what I do during the day, and kind of show you how it all works for me. Now, keep in mind, I'm not a startup. I've been doing this for a long time now. So I do digital marketing services. The digital marketing services I do are search engine optimization, Facebook ads, Google ads. And those three services I do in combination or singly, depending on what the client needs. And I have been doing that for the last 10 years on and off. So I worked in agencies. I used to work in like a big agency with over 150 staff, and I kind of moved around. I sort of learnt everything on my own as I went. And I started to get my own clients on the side from doing jobs, as well as like starting other businesses and trying to work out this online thing. So just keep in mind that I've been doing this for a long time. So where I'm at and what I do is going to be different to, say, if you own an agency and you're interested in this, or if you own your own online business and you're interested in this, or you don't own anything at all and you want to. What I do during the day is going to be wildly different to what you're probably doing. And if you're at my stage, then it could be interesting as well if you're sort of at the stage that I'm at financially, to sort of get a comparison to sort of see what I do, and it might be different to you. But I'm in a position now where I'm very sort of happy with where I'm at. Like, I don't want to scaling my business from 50K per month now to 100K per month makes zero sense to me. That would just be a number because my ego wants to achieve it. I thought that's what I wanted, but now that I'm here, I don't need to really think about doing that. Now, as well as that, I've made those realizations, and I've adjusted my lifestyle and my business to suit exactly how I want to live. And I'll go through that in a minute. But I'll do some clicking around now. So show you some of the boring shit that I do. I call it boring because you probably don't, because you kind of want to know. But I am just going to do some clicking around to show you what I do. It is 9:22. Just so you know, I don't get up early. I'm not an early riser. So above all else, hang on, I need to make a point of this. Above all else, my health, my body, my stress levels, all those things, they come before business because they are the business. I am the business. So my body and my health are number one above everything. And so I get my 8 hours every single night. So if I have to sleep until 10 to get my 8 hours, I'll fucking sleep until 10. None of this bullshit, sleep when I'm dead and like grind all night and all this sort of thing. That has its place in the early days when you're 21 and you can handle that sort of thing. But now that I'm 33, I train seven times a week. Like my nutrition's on point, all that sort of thing. Like my life is dialed in. Like I love to live this way. And I get my 8 hours regardless of anything. Also, Wimbledon's on right now, so that kind of throws a spanner in the works. I'm staying up late. And if you don't know what Wimbledon is, you probably should just exit this video because we're not going to get along. Only kidding. But seriously. Anyway, so first thing I'll show you is I have 2 staff. I have a media buyer and I have a virtual assistant. Now, I had more staff, but I fired some of them because I realized I was just hiring them to try and leverage myself out of more tasks, but I was just putting more people on when I realized I could just do most of those things within the 2 people I have. So my media buyer, they buy media space, hence the name media buyer, and they run Google ads and Facebook ads. So for whatever whatever clients I'm doing those services for, they will help me run those and manage those. Now, a virtual assistant, both of them have been with me for over 3 years now. But she does all of my admin stuff. So any reporting that he's doing, anything where you need to actually physically type a bunch of shit and do some stuff up and do some reports and writing things, I get her to do all of that. I pay her an hourly rate, and I pay my media buyer based on the client and what the needs are. So a retainer for each one. And I found that both work really, really well. Now, I've built relationships with both of them to a point where I'm like friends with both of them. They don't live here in Australia. One's in the Philippines, one's in Albania. They're obviously fluent in English, and they understand the Australian, market very well. But at the end of the day, like they are both very close to me, like to a point where I have sent my media buyer money if he needed it, and because it's just like they're human beings, and I think people in business, they treat either staff or hiring people or contractors kind of like they're to be used. They're humans, and you should treat them like that. And that's what helps your business too. Because if you give a shit about them, they will give a shit about you, and they'll give a shit about the clients they're working on. And at the end of the day, you need that to have a healthy relationship, to have that work. So I manage most of my stuff through Sheets and Google Documents. I'm not a planner guy, right? And I don't recommend you run your business like this. So a lot of the stuff, this is one of my media buyer worksheets. So all of our clients are in here together, and I basically get all of the client details in here that he's going to need, all the access that he needs as well. So, if he needs access to business managers, Google Ads, analytics, all that kind of thing, I'll tick it to make sure he's got it. And anything that he doesn't have, he can easily see in a snapshot. Now, our time zones are flipped, which means I'm awake and working when he's in bed, and then opposite way around. So as soon as I finish work, he's basically just starting. So any action items I need him to do, I put in here for him. Now, it's the start of a new month, so there's not really many action items in here that we need. And honestly, we run a very well-oiled machine here, so everyone knows what everything needs. He has KPIs, all that kind of thing. It's all managed. So Google Sheets is where I manage that, and then I have my VA worksheet with my VA. Then in here is like her hours that she does. She just documents them down. Once it gets to a certain point, then I pay her. Clients for reporting, report links, like client access stuff that she needs. Everything's done in a spreadsheet. Now, in terms of how I manage them with their communication, I have Slack for everything and everyone. Now, I have Slack because I don't like phone calls. Fucking hate phone calls. I watch my phone ring. Don't like it. And I've optimized my business in a way now that I can have everything on a chat app, because nothing is ever that urgent that someone needs to call me, ever. There's never really been a case where it's like something's burning down and I need to be called. In very off occasions, there can be things where it's just like, let's just do a phone call because it's just way easier. But for the most part, everything is managed. I get a phone call a month if I'm lucky. I used to do phone calls all the time, but everything's managed in my chat apps now. And if you want to learn how to do that, which I did, because I'm an introvert. My phone ringing just gives me instant anxiety. It's just like cortisol straight up. So don't like it. But if you want to learn how to do that, like I've optimized my business in this way now where I don't really have to do it. I just chat all through Slack. The secret to profitability and having that type of communication style within a digital agency, retention and relationships. That's it. Profit and all that sort of things come straight after that. And obviously sales are important, yes, but when it comes down to it, like profit, like retention and relationships are the most important thing. If you have trust and you get results with your clients, you will hold on to them for a long time. They will pay you well. They'll get paid well because you're doing the marketing for them and you're getting results for them, and they'll understand how you work. And that's it. And so like I'll make a video entirely different on that, but for the most part, everything's through my chat apps. Now I have this, and I also have WhatsApp for some things as well. So that's just a separate chat app. But I separate them out in a way that allows me to not have to, get to something immediately. Because the reason I don't like phone calls is because of the fact that it steals your creativity. It steals your flow. When you're working and you're in that flow state, phone calls just ruin that. So that's why I don't have them. So the first thing I'll really do when I jump on my computer is I will look at client results. And I do this 2-3 times a day, because once you do it once, like you start to really get kind of used to how it flows. You kind of get used to seeing numbers and knowing what needs to happen. And I look at this 2 or 3 times a day because I need to know how my clients are going to start with. So I know what information I need to feed my media buyer. But when he's doing all the management finicky stuff, it gives me the zoom out approach to be able to look at a client and see what the big needle movers are, so we know what better things need to be done to make them more profitable, make them more money. And so if I was doing the hours worth of work of the media buying through the Facebook ads, Google ads, then I don't have the ability to look at a client and see what really needs to happen. Like my energy and my focus is put into the hours that I'm doing. So that's why I can scale myself out of that part of the hours that need to be done, and I can look at the structuring of the ad account, because everything that he knows, I obviously know well as well. I'm very proficient in all these areas because I've been doing this for such a long time. So I can look at the structure, I can make suggestions, I can ask him questions, I can make sure that everything's moving in the right direction. So as an example, this client, at the start of this month, we spent $740. We've made $2,600, 3.5. I know the ROAS is going well, and I kind of look at the campaigns that are running, see what's working, see what's not, look at the ads that are working, see what's not, see what we need to double down on, see what we need to sort of cut and get rid of. I can do that. I can zoom out. So I'll look for my Facebook ads clients. Now I have different types of clients. I have e-commerce clients and I have service-based clients. So an example of a service-based client, let's jump over to Google Ads now, where, for example, this particular client has, for the start of this month, they have 6 conversions. And if we have a look at the type of conversions that they actually do real estate. And we want contact form submissions, which is this one here. And they have 5 for the start of this month. So I know that if they make a conversion off of one of these 5, they're probably going to make hundreds of thousands of dollars, because that's kind of what their service is worth. They're selling luxury apartments. So that's really important to know. Obviously, I know all of my clients well. I don't have many clients, and you don't need many clients when you have great relationships and great retention to make $50K a month. You don't need a whole bunch of them. It's not how it works. But I know that they're going to make money because I know the margins that are in them. I know what each lead is worth to them. I know how much we spend on each lead. So I know in my head straight away, from a snapshot in my brain, how much they're making if they close deals. So, and these are things you all need to know. So I'll check Google Ads as well. Then I'll check the rank tracker, which is search engine optimization stuff. So the search engine optimization, let's just do an example of this. So it could be like if we type in this keyword here, this here, Google Ads, and then anything that says sponsored above it is a Google ad. And then anything that doesn't is search engine optimization. So SEO. So I started with SEO, just so you know. And SEO is like the organic side of things, not paid, it's organic. So that's why I started and I learned SEO. And then I realized as I got clients, they're like, oh, do you also do Google Ads? And that's why I scaled into Google Ads as well. So That's a bit of an example of that. Now, in terms of my clients, I have a bunch of them in here and I just look at rankings. Then I might look at, as an example, I had this open from yesterday, but I was looking at the turbulence in the SEO world. I'm sort of seeing what's going on. So if a client asks a question, I kind of know what's happening with sort of SEO ranking movements and that kind of thing. So overall, for the first hour of the day, I'm looking at results. I'm seeing where we can leverage extra results, and that is every single day. It's just automatic. So that's the first thing I do. Now, what are all these other tools up here? Obviously, I got my emails. Now, this is a big one. Emails. Come here. I need to make a point of this. Emails are a future problem. They're not a right now problem. And I want to make a point of that for any of you online business owners who constantly look at their emails, because that used to be me. I used to look at my emails all the time because I was just anxious that anytime a client would send me an email, it could be a cancellation or they could be asking for something that's out of scope of their project or some bullshit. Here's the hack to that. Turn your notifications off on your phone. Turn them off on your computer as well. Any notifications that pop up and shit, turn them off. Also, turn off the little red dot that pops up on your Gmail thing. So mine's at the top right there. Turn the little red thing off. Turn it off. The reason why is because it steals your creativity. It steals your flow, just like the phone calls does. It stops you in your tracks. It's a mental blockage for how your day runs. And if you need to be focused on numbers and figures and, being creative to see how you can make a client more money, any of that communication just stops that. Emails are a future problem for tomorrow. They're not a now issue. If something was really pressing, someone would either call you or they'd make a point to make a contact with you via your email. So it can be left alone. Leave it alone. I just wanted to make a point of that. So emails I'll check like once, twice a day. Now I have a stupid setup where I've got fucking 2 emails because I have to check them. My calendar, I have, this is an unusually large amount of stuff on a calendar. So usually mine's pretty clean because I don't like meetings. I don't like Zoom calls, as we've already discussed. I have Notion. I do this for a lot of my one-on-one clients and my own management stuff. I don't use it for my agency. So these are all pinned here because I use them all most of the day. Dropbox is used for like creatives, so Facebook ad creatives and that kind of thing. So I use Dropbox for that. This is all my passwords and shit that I hope that I have blurred out on this YouTube video because that would be dumb. So I keep everything in one like main sheet for all my passwords and everything that I need. So if I need to quickly reference them, I do. This is go high level. So this is actually, I look at the physical leads that come through for each client. So I know for each different service for each client that comes through, they have a different like lead generation tool. So one of my clients has go high level, and then I physically look at the type of inquiry that's coming through. I physically look at it because if I don't, then I don't know what the quality's like, and so I can ask my clients, say, how'd that lead go? I can say, did you make contact with them, and keep them accountable as well. That's a really important part of digital marketing. This is another important thing. When you're doing any service for anybody, see it as a partnership. Don't see your service as something where it's like they're paying you to do a job and it's all on you. It is a partnership. You two are amalgamated together. That's a good word. That's the word of the day for your Friday. It's amalgamated together. And that's important because if you're seen as the service provider where all of the responsibility falls on, and in early days of any business, you're probably going to get that. If you're seen as that person, then, and your feeling is that too, then you're going to feel like you need to like overexert yourself to get any sort of result for them. And that's not a good place to work from. A partnership, a feeling of a partnership is when the service provider, you do a great job and you fulfill your part, which was discussed at the very beginning of the point of sale. It's like, here's the expectation. What do you need? This is what I can provide. And then that's the agreement. And then the person who's getting the person who's actually doing the service and you're providing the leads for or the sales for in e-commerce, it's a partnership and they need to fulfill their side. Because let's say you produce 10 leads a month for a painter, and that painter it's their job to answer phone calls from the leads that you're producing them. Because if you rank first on SEO for painting Melbourne, painting Sydney, painting whatever, then they're going to get phone calls. So it's up to them to make sure they stop doing a fucking rollie on the wall, pick up the phone and sell the client, or make an appointment or do their proper service. But if they let that phone ring out and you know that you've been getting phone calls to that client and you say, how'd that phone call go? You keep them accountable. Which phone call was that? It's like, you got 3 today. And so how'd they go? You're keeping them accountable, but they're not doing their part of the job. And so it's not your fault that he's not answering the phone or she's not answering the phone. So it's a partnership. If they don't fulfill their side, your side can't work. And so that's why the partnership and the relationship is so important. If it's disjointed and it's seen as something that is like, you're doing it for them, so you must produce, otherwise you're gone, then that's not a good working relationship. And I've had so many of those, don't get me wrong. So that was just a tangent. Hopefully that was helpful. But I'll do another video on how you can nurture those relationships, so that can really help. But as far as these go, I look at the type of inquiries they're getting, and I keep my clients accountable for that too. So let's go high level. I use Xero for all of my accounting, all that sort of stuff. You don't need to see that. HubSpot is something I use to I add all my clients into HubSpot because it's free. And then what I do is I pin the notes to the very top of each client so I can see all their logins and everything. And I just keep all their data in there. I just found that to be easy. I did that from the start and I just never looked back. So I just use that for that. That's my rank tracker I showed you before. Analytics is something that I obviously look at every single day as well. I don't really look at it too deeply just to look at data. I look at it if I know there's an issue with a client, or if I need to find some data out for them, or if they had an unusually high or low sales day, then I'll check analytics to see what's going on in there, see where their traffic's coming from, all that kind of thing. Google Ads dashboard, we looked at that before. Trello is something I've recently brought into my world for managing Facebook ad creatives, because if you're doing a Facebook ad service for somebody, then creative is everything, and you should know that. And if you don't know that, then double down on your creatives. So having a really good process where you work through your creatives, I use Trello because that kind of works for me. And I've set it up in a way that my media buyer has access. Any other external company that sort of works with the designs and all that sort of thing, they have access as well. And then this just works really nicely. Google Keep, I use this flat out. Google Keep's like my management tool. Now, I want you to know I suck at managing tasks. I suck at it. So what I will do is, if I know I need to do something, I go, that little reminders thing on your iPhone, I use that to jot stuff down. But during the day, I literally just know what I kind of need to do. And anything that I know I might forget, I just reference that list and then I do it. So don't run your business that way. Do not run your business that way. Don't run it like me. I've been doing this for 10 years, so that's why I kind of have that intuition. But if I were to scale harder, I would need some kind of management system, but I don't have one. So you can see I've got some tools and stuff in here that I use, but yeah. So I use Google Keep if I have an idea I want to do for a YouTube video, an idea I want to do for a reel, details I just need to quickly jot down. I use this and I use it flat out. So Google Keep's one that I use, and then I use Ads Manager as well for Facebook Ads Manager. And that's really it. So for the first couple of hours of the day, I check results. I use a bunch of different tools and things, which I just showed you, which are all pinned to the top of my thing, which I use the most of. After I've checked results and I just make sure everything's going good, then I'll just do tasks that I know need to be done. So, from the day before, whatever it might be. So, for example, today, if I look at my list, I don't even know Fridays I kind of take it easy, but as an example, I've got follow-ups to do. I've requested information off certain clients and they haven't gotten back to me. So I'm trying to get information off them because it's, we need it to be able to build some new pages on their website or whatever it might be. Just normal management tasks like that. I do my client management because I want to, because I'm the one who has the relationships and I am my business. If I wanted to go and sell my agency tomorrow, I couldn't, because it's not worth anything. I am the business. And I never wanted that's the trade-off that you get with owning an online business that's remote like this. If I didn't do anything from now until the end of the year, my business would inevitably burst into flames. I can't leave it like that. But that's the life I wanted to build, because if I wanted to today knock off at 10 a.m., I can. And so that's kind of like the trade-off that you get. I think I've pretty much covered most things. I hope this was somewhat insightful and helpful. I guess I wanted to know these things when I was younger. If you have any questions or anything, you can drop in the comments. If you have any, if you enjoyed this, let me know. On Instagram, you can DM me if you have any questions like that. I am my Instagram. I have 2,000 something followers, so I'm not like a fucking huge influencer or anything, any bullshit like that. And I'm doing this to help you now because I needed me now when I was younger. So I'm just kind of being that figure. So I also do coaching as well. It's not really my main thing that I'm doing, but I am sort of moving into more of that stuff as well because I enjoy this. And I think any kind of work that I do now, and I've built to this point that I can help anyone else with, I will. And I really enjoy it too. So hope this was valuable, and I'll see you in the next one.